Welcome to Silverlens, where we will be talking about Chati Coronel's celestial data for daydreaming. Her show is on here until August the 28th, and it's her first since emigrating from the Philippines. I'm Marga Ortigas. She said she wanted to focus on the 7 classical planets of ancient Greece because she had grown obsessed in a way, or really passionate about cosmology, trying to find the place in the world that humans occupy, where her own space was in relation to everybody else and all of life. And so she came up with these 7 paintings, each one representing the planets. You've got Mars, you've got Venus, you've got Saturn, and each one is themed around what those gods represented to the ancient Greeks and what their movements across the sky were seen to do to influence human behavior. Now, what was it like meeting Chati Coronel? Well, in very typical 21st century pandemic fashion, we only met online on a video conference call. And yet, it was still very much otherworldly. Her energy was just, I can't even, it's very difficult to put into words the kind of energy that an artist like Chati Coronel emanates. The work that you see that she's put out seems very solid, very much sure of herself and very bold. And yet when you meet the artist, she is rather soft-spoken, very, very thoughtful, and very considered and measured in the words that she uses, and indeed in every stroke that she puts on the canvas. It might seem that she's driven by a wild and frenzied passion, which you do see in the very bold strokes that she has in her work, and yet the artist herself seems very incongruous to that. There is something almost ethereal about her and diaphanous that you can almost see right through her. And yet that energy is very expansive and very powerful. So it was very much otherworldly meeting her, and you knew that you were in a space with someone very, very special. You know, when we started this process, I really liked this painting, which was her Apollo, greatly because I saw her description of it online. And you see her online talking about her process. She posts videos, she blogs. It's definitely always a work in progress with Chati, but it's also still a work in progress for the viewers, for those of us who are looking at the work and appreciating it. Because, like, for example, for me, even my appreciation of the work changed once I was actually in the room with all 7 of them. It's a very different experience. And now, just now, and I'm speaking for right this minute, my favorite is Venus. I don't know why, I can't really explain it. It speaks to me. It's soft and it's light and it's warm. And yet, I'm sure probably in another week or so, that might change. And that's very much the thing about Chati's works. They speak to you, and yet that message is constantly changing, depending also on where the viewer is at the moment in time that they're looking at it. And that's exactly how she wants it to be. Chati has a background in architecture, which would show you that she has some appreciation for structure. But it isn't like she necessarily plans her paintings. She says she's sparked by inspiration, and then she goes where the spirit might take her. So whatever painting you might see before you is definitely not the artwork as she might have first envisioned it in her head. So there are many different layers to a Chati Coronel canvas. Sometimes it can be as many as 15. And she says that the work is really only truly done when it's already hanging on the walls of Silverlens. It's been a very difficult year and a half globally because of this pandemic, with many people still in isolation. But that time of isolation has led Chati Coronel into a very introspective space. And what that showed her is that humanity needs to connect more with each other. And she has put this call to arms, as it were, this call to connect with a wider community into all of her art. She hopes that this transmits some hope, some light, and some love to everybody, that there is a light at the end of this very dark pandemic tunnel. And if you can't come to Silverlens to see her artwork hanging on these walls in this very gorgeous space, please do then visit the website so that you can at least experience the missives of love that Chati Coronel has put on canvas.